100%. That's how much WNBA viewership has jumped thanks to Caitlin Clark. In just 5 weeks, she's done what usually takes 5 years. But with great ratings come great haters. What's fueling this backlash against women's basketball's new queen? Let's talk numbers. Clark's not just playing ball, she's rewriting history. She's the first rookie ever to average 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, and she's already nailed her first triple-double. But here's the kicker, attendance is through the roof. We're talking 16,000 fans at some games. That's triple the league's usual crowd. You might be wondering, can one player really change everything? Well, that's the million-dollar question. The WNBA's future might just hang in the balance. Is Clark a one-hit wonder, or is she the spark that'll light up women's sports for good? There's more to this story than meets the eye, and we're about to uncover it all. But hold up, not everyone's buying into the Caitlin Clark hype. Some WNBA veterans are throwing up red flags faster than Clark can sink a three-pointer. And you know what? They might have a point. Let's talk about Diana Taurasi for a second. She's not just any player, she's a WNBA legend, and she's got a message for Clark. Reality is coming. Ouch. Taurasi's not pulling any punches. She's saying there are levels to this game, and Clark's about to face a whole new challenge. Now, you might be thinking, come on, why can't they just be happy for her? But here's the thing, these vets have seen it all. They've been through the grind year after year. They know the WNBA isn't just a step up from college ball. It's a whole different beast. So what's really behind this skepticism? Is it just about protecting their legacy? Maybe a little, but there's more to it. These players have fought tooth and nail for every bit of recognition they've got. They've played in half-empty arenas, dealt with low pay, and still showed up to ball out every single night. And now here comes Clark, breaking records left and right, getting all this attention. It's not hard to see why some might feel a little salty, but it's not just about jealousy. There are real questions about how you compare different eras of the game. Think about it, the rules change, the training gets better, the competition evolves. So when Clark's smashing records set 20, 30 years ago, is it really apples to apples? That's what's got some of these vets raising their eyebrows. But not everyone's on board with this skepticism. Take Charles Barkley, he's calling out the WNBA players for what he sees as pettiness. Barkley's not mincing words. He's saying, y'all should be thanking Caitlin Clark for getting y'all A's private charters, all the money and visibility she's bringing to the WNBA. Barkley's got a point. Clark's bringing in fans, money, attention, all the things the WNBA's been fighting for. But is it that simple? Can one rookie really solve all the league's problems? Here's where it gets complicated. A lot of current WNBA players are pushing back against Barkley's take. They're saying, hey, we support Clark, we're not hating. Chiny Oglemike, for example, tweeted, every WNBA player I know supports this rookie class and are grateful for the spotlight and money that Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Courier are bringing to the W. So what's really going on here? It's not just about Clark, it's about the whole history of the WNBA. It's about recognition, respect, and what it means to build a league from the ground up. Think about it. The players who came before Clark, they're the ones who laid the foundation. They played in those half-empty arenas. They fought for every bit of media coverage. They're the reason there's even a league for Clark to join. And now with all this attention on Clark, some of them are worried their contributions might be forgotten. It's like they're saying, hey, remember us? We made this possible. But here's the kicker. Now, this tension isn't just about basketball. It's about something way bigger. It's about how we value women's sports as a whole. It's about who gets recognized, who gets paid, and why. Clark's success is shining a spotlight on all of these issues. And you know what? That might be a good thing, because now we're talking about it. We're asking the hard questions. We're looking at the WNBA, really looking at it, maybe for the first time. So, all right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Caitlin Clark's success isn't just about basketball. It's stirring up conversations about race, gender, and what we value in sports. And trust me, it's not all pretty. You've seen the headlines. Clark's not just breaking records, she's breaking the internet. But why? Some say it's not just her skills, it's her looks, her race, her whole package. Now, before you get all fired up, remember, we're just laying out the facts here. Let's break it down. Clark's a white woman in a league that's mostly black. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. And it's got people talking. Some argue that her appeal goes beyond the court. They say she's got what they call pretty privilege. You know, when being attractive gives you a boost in life. Now, hold on to your seats, because this is where it gets real. Clark just signed a $28 million deal with Nike. That's not just big, it's massive. We're talking signature shoe line, the works. But here's the kicker. Some folks are asking if a black player with the same skills would get the same deal. It's a tough question, right? But it's one we've got to ask. Because here's the thing, the WNBA has been fighting for recognition and respect for years. And a lot of that fight has been led by black women who've been the backbone of this league. Remember what Sue Bird said? She pointed out how women's soccer players seem to get more love than WNBA players. And yeah, she hinted that race might have something to do with it. It's not an easy thing to talk about, but it's there. Even Paige Buchers, another rising star, spoke up about this. She said we need to celebrate Clark's success, but we also need to think about how black women in the sport are covered and recognized. It's not about taking away from Clark, it's about lifting everyone up. Now, let's be clear, nobody's saying Clark doesn't deserve her success. She's worked her butt off to get where she is, but we can't ignore the bigger picture. The way Clark's being marketed, the attention she's getting, it's shining a light on some uncomfortable truths about how we view women's sports. Jamila Hill put it pretty bluntly. She said Clark's rise shows some problematic stuff about how marketability works in the league. It's not just about skill, it's about image, appeal, and yeah, sometimes race. So what does all this mean for the WNBA? Well, it's complicated. On one hand, Clark's bringing in viewers, sponsors, and attention like never before. That's good for everyone, right? But on the other hand, it's forcing us to look at some hard truths about who gets celebrated and why. Think about it. The WNBA has been around for decades, full of incredible players who fought tooth and nail for every bit of recognition. And now Clark comes in and suddenly everyone's paying attention. It's great, but it also makes you wonder, why now? Why her? This isn't about bashing Clark or downplaying her achievements. It's about understanding the bigger picture. It's about recognizing that success in sports, especially women's sports, isn't just about what happens on the court. It's about marketing, image, and yes, sometimes things we'd rather not talk about, like race and appearance. Alright, let's flip the script. We've talked about the controversy, the skepticism, and the uncomfortable truths. But what if Caitlin Clark's success is actually the best thing to happen to the WNBA in years? Stick around, because this is where things get really interesting. First off, let's talk numbers. The WNBA is projecting a 93% growth in ticket sales for 2024. That's not just good, that's game-changing. We're talking about nearly doubling the audience. And a lot of that is thanks to the Clark effect. But it's not just about filling seats. It's about changing the whole game. More fans mean more money, more attention, and more opportunities for everyone in the league. It's like Clark's success is a rising tide and it's lifting all boats. Don't just take my word for it. Let's hear from the players themselves. Chini Ogwumike, a star in her own right, had this to say. The W is rooting for Caitlin and the rising generation because when they win, we win. Rising tide lifts all boats. And she's not alone. Aja Wilson, one of the league's biggest names, is also throwing her support behind Clark. She's saying, let's be very clear, we love Caitlin Clark. I think this narrative of everybody hating on her, knock it off, it's not there. So what does this mean for the WNBA? It's simple. More eyes on the game mean more opportunities for everyone. We're talking better pay, more sponsorships, and improved conditions across the board. Think about it. When was the last time you saw the WNBA getting this much attention? Clark's bringing in fans who've never watched a women's basketball game before. And once they're in, they're seeing the incredible talent across the entire league. This isn't just about one player. It's about changing perceptions. It's about showing the world that women's basketball is just as exciting, just as competitive, and just as worthy of attention as the men's game. And here's the kicker. This could be the start of something much bigger. We're not just talking about basketball anymore. We're talking about changing how people see women's sports as a whole. Imagine a world where women's sports get the same coverage, the same respect, and the same opportunities as men's sports. It sounds like a dream, right? But with the momentum Clark's bringing, it might just become a reality. But let's keep it real for a second. This isn't gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take work, dedication, and support from fans, players, and the league itself. But for the first time in a long time, it feels like real change is possible. So what's next? Well, that's where it gets exciting. We're already seeing seeing games being moved to bigger venues to accommodate the growing crowds. We're seeing more coverage, more discussion, and more excitement around the WNBA than ever before. And it's not just about the here and now. This could be the start of a whole new era for women's sports. An era where young girls can dream of becoming professional athletes and know that they'll be valued, respected, and celebrated. But here's the thing, it's not just up to Caitlin Clark. It's up to all of us, the fans, the media, the sponsors. We all have a role to play in making this change happen. So yeah, Clark's success has sparked some controversy. It's made us look at some uncomfortable truths about our biases and preferences, but it's also opened up a world of possibilities. So what's next for Caitlin Clark and the WNBA? We've seen the stats, the hype, and the controversy. Clark's not just playing ball, she's changing the game, but is she a one-time wonder or the start of something bigger? Think about it. We've got record-breaking viewership, sold-out arenas, and a whole new buzz around women's basketball. But it's not just about Clark, it's about how we react to change, face our biases, and shape the future of sports. The real game isn't just on the court, it's in boardrooms, living rooms, and everywhere people talk about sports. Will we use this moment to lift all women athletes? Or will we let old habits hold us back? Clark's story isn't over, it's just beginning, and how it ends, that's up to all of us.